What's up, YouTube? Your boy JB here, and I'm here today with a late review for the haves and have-nots. This is season 7, episode 18, titled A Sixth Sense. The reason why this video was late is actually because my DVR said fuck me last night. Ooh, shit, excuse me. I ain't mean to burp in y'all face like that. My bad. So my DVR didn't record it at 7 o'clock my time. It didn't even record it at 10 o'clock. So I had to wait until 2 in the morning to record it. And I said, I'm not staying up to watch this. So I said I was going to wake up and watch it today. And I watched it on my lunch break. And I paused it at the end. I paused it once I got to the end because I had to go back to work. I was like, you know what, this is going to be a late video. But nonetheless, we're here for this show. That episode last night was not good. It was actually worse than last week's episode, if we are going to be honest. This was a filler. I mean, this whole season has been nothing but filler because I don't know where these storylines are going. But without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? All right, you guys, so the episode opens up. You guys remember in last week's episode, Vinnie went over to the Crier's house asking Hannah about Derek. And, you know, remember, he left. As he was leaving, he saw Derek pull up, hitting on Derek's hood, telling him to get out the car. If I was Derek, I would have told Vinnie to go to hell. Like, dude, why you bamming on my truck? So then he gets out of the truck. Vinnie asks him, did he rape Hannah? He says, he starts rambling. I'm just like, oh, God. Vinnie said, did you rape her? He's still rambling. Vinnie's asking, did you rape her? He says, I was a different person and I was on drugs. I'll make it up to her. Vinnie said the one thing that I agreed with. How the hell do you make up for raping somebody? So Vinnie punched the shit out of Derek. He told him, get up. And Derek was like, I'm not going to get up and fight you. So, you know, Vinnie keeps telling him to get up. I'm like, Vinnie, this man is not going to fight you. Let him go. So Vinnie tells him, get in your truck. Get out of here. I don't want to see you around here no more. He's like, but I work here. He says, you fired today. I'm like, oh, okay. So your name is Catherine Crier and Jim Crier. All right, Vinnie, you gonna sit here and just tell somebody that they ain't got no job. Whatever. All right, you guys. Now, I've said this plenty of times. This whole situation with Jeffrey, it is annoying. What gays do Tyler Perry know? I'm just asking that question. What gays do he know? Because these are stereotypical, especially Colby. He is the stereotypical gay person that you would expect to see. That whole storyline is just going nowhere for me. It's irritating me. You know, they're at lunch. Everyone is having a good time with the exception of Madison. And you know, Colby is telling Madison that he's gonna take Jeffrey for drinks. Madison says no. Jeffrey says, well, what do you think? Jeffrey says, well, only if Madison comes. I was like, oh God, this shit is annoying. I don't know what's more annoying, this storyline or Justin's storyline intertwined with this storyline. Actually, I think it's a combination of all three. Every storyline. Okay. So we also find out that Madison was a go-go dancer to get himself through college. I don't really care. Madison loved to go back to work. So Colby is telling See, I'm getting myself tied around with these people. It's too many characters. Colby is telling Jeffrey that Madison likes him. He's telling him that he's told him everything about Veronica, his dad walking in on him having sex. I'm like, damn, so you just done spilled all your beans to, and he's supposed to be your ex, but you telling him everything? So then he's also telling him he knows about the fact that, Jeffrey got drunk and suggested that they go jump in Veronica's pool. So now Colby wants to go jump in Veronica's pool to stick it to the bitch. His words, not mine, because he kept calling her a bitch. God, this episode. I don't know if I'm going to even make it through this review, because this episode just drove me crazy. But let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys. Next target practice, Veronica's maid, whatever her name is, Laura, she returns. And, Samuel is outside. Thank God he's moved away from that fucking pool. Thank God he has moved away from that pool. But he's fixing the camera. So, Laura comes up and talking about how, nice Veronica is. And, he's saying, Derek told me that we need to be careful about Veronica, not to trust her. Derek is correct. You should not trust Veronica. Veronica is, well, she's like, well, she's nice to me and rude to everybody else. Nah, baby. She might be nice to you, but she's playing you like a fiddle. She's setting you up to die. So then they start to kiss each other at the doorway. Veronica opens the door and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. She's like, no, I love love. I'm like, no, you don't. You want to bang her husband's brains out. But okay. So then let's move back over to Vinnie. So Vinnie goes up to the door once again at the Criers. Hannah was like, didn't I tell you to leave? And he was like, I saw Derek. She's like, where? He's like, here. She's like, what did you do? He said, I killed him and he's in the back of my truck. I was like, Vinnie, that's not a funny joke, but okay. He says, nah, I knocked his ass down. So then, she tells him, like, stay out of my business. And Hannah and him had a back and forth. It was stay out of my business. How do you forgive him for raping you? Stay out of my business. He said he changed. It was just a whole back and forth. I was literally sitting there thinking to myself, what normal human being has dialogue that long and repetitive? More specifically, that repetitive. I think that's my problem when it comes to Tyler Perry and his shows. Like I say, I give him props where props is due for, employing so many black actors and actresses. But my big problem is his writing and storytelling. It's shitty at best. And the storylines drag on forever. The dialogue with the characters is just not normal dialogue that you have with a normal person. Like, I'm not going to sit here. If my mom got raped by a man and I found out and she didn't want to tell me, I'm like, oh, why you don't want to tell me? Like, who is it? If she says stay out of my business, I'm like, but you are my business. And if she say, Jerome, let it go, I'm like, okay, mama, I'm going to let it go. If I find a dude, I'm going to beat his ass. Just putting it at that. And that would be the end of it. We wouldn't have a back and forth. Good God of hell. I just don't understand the dialogue. I really don't understand the dialogue. And I was actually thinking about reviewing Sisters, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. It's 2 hours tonight, and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to. I'm going to watch it, but I don't know if the dialogue is repetitive. I just probably will stick with the hams and the have-nots and the Oval. Let's move on, you guys. All right, next. I'm going to have to take a deep breath on this one. Oliver and Landon. So Landon came, is it Landon? Yeah, Landon. So you guys remember Landon was talking to Charles last week's episode. So he comes out, he calls his girl, and he's trying to get him on the news, on the nightly news and the daytime, and in the daytime news. And it's about Candace. And I'm like, but he just humiliated Candace. So what is he really trying to do? I mean, I get it, he's trying to get her back, but you humiliated her, but okay, I guess. So then Oliver takes it upon himself to talk about this will blow up in his face, and he calls her a whore. And, Landon tries to tell him, like, he is in love with her. And, well, Oliver's like, well, he'll be better with this woman. Well, whatever her name was. I didn't catch her name, didn't really care what her name was. So then Charles comes out because Charles overheard the conversation. And Charles, digs into his ass. I'm just like, why? Really and truly, when it comes to them, I don't understand why we seeing them. I guess the only thing that we're going to have from this is the fact that Candace might be pregnant by Charles. There are 2 episodes left of this season. I just thought about that. There are 2 episodes left of this season. And I don't even know what we've learned in this season. If you guys know what we've learned in this season, please inform me. And that's sad that a reviewer is asking to be enlightened about what we've learned in this season, because I don't remember. Because the main characters don't really have a storyline. it's the it's the recurring characters that have more of a storyline than the actual characters, if you want to say that. So then we see, you know, again, the stereotypical gay. We see Colby and Jeffrey go back to Madison's apartment. They're having some drinks. He's once again still talking about going over and getting in Veronica's pool. But Jeffrey is trying to talk him out of it. And then some of his friends come over. Hey, bitches. He kept calling them bitches. I'm just like, oh, God. I'm trying, you guys. This episode, like I said, this episode was, for me, this episode was horrible. And I gotta be honest about that. Last week's episode was bad, but this week's episode topped. And I don't know how the fuck that happened. But this week's episode literally topped last week's episode, so I don't know how that happened. But let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys, so let's talk about Sandy and Vinnie. So Sandy and Vinnie are at the bar, and Vinnie is asking Sandy, what is he gonna do about his girl being with another guy? And Sandy's looking at him like, how do you know that? And then, you know, Vinnie said whatever he said. He says, what are you gonna do about it? He said, I got it covered. He said, do you need backup? He says, why do you think I need backup? Because you're a little bit soft. Is Sandy soft? Hell yeah. Do I think Sandy would kill the boyfriend? No. Would he punch him? Actually, I don't even think he would punch him. Because, I mean, Sandy was just a bitch with the Wyatt situation, so I don't think he would. So then Sandy decides to challenge Vinnie and says, well, the crier boy, he stabbed you in the neck and he's downstairs in the basement still alive. What you gonna do about that? So Vinnie looked at him like, who you talking to? And then Vinnie kicks his seat and he's drunk, and Sandy is drunk. So he falls. He tells him, get out of here. Don't come back until you have some balls. I'm like, well, Vinnie, you're going to be waiting a long time for him to find some balls. So then back over with, who the fuck was this? Back over with Landon. So there's some guy that comes in. I don't know if he's, you know, CIA, Secret Service, or wherever he is. I don't know. So he comes over. He has a file for Landon. And in the file, it is photos of Oliver. This video is going to be short as hell, I can already tell you right now. So it's showing Oliver with a guy that he met up with a few weeks ago, the one he got the cocaine from. And, you know, he's like, okay, so why is he meeting with him? He says he has a cocaine addiction and his family tried to hide that cocaine addiction. Then he also tells him that the guy that is with Oliver is also hired by Jim Cryer to keep tabs on Veronica. He watches her day and night. Okay. So Oliver is like, oh, nope. Landon is like, he's going to use this to set a trap for Oliver. Cool. You got it. Let's move on. And then let's just close this episode out with Veronica and the three stooges plus Jeffrey. So the three stooges plus Jeffrey get in her pool. Now, Colby, he goes over there and flirts with. All right, you guys. Sorry, somebody called me in the middle of me recording this video. So, where was I at? Colby. Colby went over there to flirt with Samuel. He was naked, and he was like, look at me. Samuel's like, I'm good. I'm like, dude, do you not realize that he's straight? Okay. That's another stereotype. I just really want to know who Tyler Perry hangs out with that's gay. Because you are given so many stereotypes, actually, of gay people and of black men and women in general with this show that are not actual depictions of everyone. But okay. It's a TV show. It is a TV show, JB. Chill out. It's a TV show. You got to keep telling yourself that. You got to keep telling yourself that this is just a show. This is not real. This is not real. This is not real. This is not real. But yes, Colby flirted with him. He says, him and his bitches, they gonna jump in the pool. Colby tells, what's his name? Samuel to go tell the old bitch that the gay people are in her pool. The old bitch, as he called her, not me, She's in the house and she is reminiscing about. Technically, she wasn't thinking about no good times. She thought about when she and her and David got married, but then after that, it was all the negative shit that has happened between she and David since Maggie Day. So, you know, Samuel goes in the house, tells her there's some naked men in her pool. She's like, what? I'm like, Veronica, them ain't the naked men that you would want. So she goes out there and she sees them. And Colby's like, your son is gay. We're gay. We do things to each other that you can't even think. Something like that. I don't know what he said. I didn't really give a fuck. Oh, God, help me, help me, help me. I don't know how I sat through that episode. And I had the fast forward feature. You know, I really do feel bad for people who, you know, actually watched the show live last night, like my girl Ashley. And, you know, the guy that does the have and have not reviews on YouTube, I don't know how they sat through that shit last night. I really don't know how they sat through that shit. Because I sat through 45 minutes on my lunch break. And then I just went back and watched the last 10, 15, 20 minutes, last whatever, however long it was. It wasn't that long because I actually was on the commercial breaks. I got to fast forward it. But, yeah, you guys. That's the review. I know this video is not long. I know this review wasn't very well. I mean, I know I couldn't give it any energy. I really couldn't because the episode was just not that good to me. The episode was trash. Sorry, Tyler Perry. Sorry. You know, my motto in life is you will never know what I'm thinking unless I tell you. And I have to say that. Again, I give you credit for what you've done for African Americans and, you know, African American actors and actresses. I give you credit and kudos where it is due. I do give you that. But to just you writing these shows by yourself, it shows. It definitely shows because some of your shows, like some of your storylines from this show, have transferred to the Oval. Like some of the storylines from Sisters, pretty sure probably transferred to Bruh. Again, I commend you for the work that you do, but you could at least hire you could really hire a writer's room. You're in Atlanta. There are people down there that would probably be more than willing to help you. But I'm done, you guys. That's the review. Be sure to like this video, leave your comments in the comment section below, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification button so you guys are aware of when I drop anything else. Share this video. Until the next one, you guys, stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, wear your mask, stay warm or cool, whatever the weather is like in your area. And until the next one, you guys, I will see you guys later. Bye.